So we're up and running.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Welcome everybody to A Rabbi and a Skeptic Walk into a Podcast, Phase 2. I'm Gary Rosenberg, and we have with us today Yonatan Dahlen, Rabbi at Sharet Zedek, which it says on the building, it says Sheri Zedek, but my entire life it's always been pronounced Sharet Zedek. What is that? Is that a Yiddish mumbo jumbo? What is that?
I think it's pronounced 80 different ways depending on which congregant I talk to as well. There's some who very much do the Hebrew of Sharet Zedek, then there's the Sher Zedek, and then there's the Sheri Zedek. There's a million different pronunciations.
Well, my mom knew just enough Yiddish that we enjoyed it now and then.
There you go.
But not a ton. So, how long have you been rabbiing there?
I've been there for 10 years.
Wow, and where did you go to yeshiva?
I went to the Jewish Theological Seminary for Rabbinical School in New York. Before I started there, I was at Hadar Institute, which is a yeshiva and is also they now do ordination for rabbis. They weren't when I was there. A way for me to get some tech study under my belt before I was there, and I was at Brandeis for grad school before that, so I was in school for forever.
Now, did you grow up always knowing you were going to be a rabbi?
Probably the furthest thing from that. I grew up in Sioux City, Iowa, where there's a very tiny Jewish population.
Not a hotbed, yeah.
Not a hotbed of Jewish life and culture. I was raised by a somewhat culturally Jewish mother, but very secular in regards of Jewish religion, and a Lutheran father. So, who was actually the spiritual heartbeat of our family.
His religion mattered to him?
Well, it's interesting because in some ways it did. He was very Iowa Norwegian farmer growing up, so that is really built into kind of his identity. But the theology of Lutheranism wasn't really his theology, but he was in treatment, he was in recovery. And recovery...
Literally?
Yeah.
Recovery from Lutheranism?
From Lutheranism, right.
So recovery in Lutheranism, does that mean listening to a lot of Lake Wobegon stories by Garrison
Oh,
Keillor?
for sure. When you're in Northwest Iowa, it's all, yes, Garrison Keillor is it's mandatory.
Did it strike home with you? Like, oh, I know these people.
When I was growing up, I didn't understand why it was funny because it was just like everyone around me. So now, older, I get it as a play off the caricatures that were all the people around me.
Wonderful. So I interrupted.
No, you're good. So I think that his spirituality really came from AA and the idea of belief in a higher power and giving yourself over to a higher power, knowing that you are powerless in some ways to, your recovery and that's where a lot of his spirituality came from. So while he was nominally Lutheran, he was is still a very spiritual person, and thinks about things in a very mystical way. He was also a child of the 60s, so he was inspired by a good...
So he always did even before he went to AA?
Yeah, he was in, good hippie countercultural movement, so I think there were some spirituality aspects of that were part of him, but that translated post his beginning in recovery as something that was really part of his sobriety.
Knowing a little bit about AA from friends and relatives, I'm a little bit jealous of them because those meetings, I'm sure they can be uninteresting and rote, but sometimes they're on fire, I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
I'm sure that people are telling stories that make your jaw drop, and they're talking about saving their own lives.
Yeah.
They're talking about, what am I here for?
Yeah.
And wow, if you're involved in a discussion like that on a daily or semi-weekly basis for years and years, that goes deep.
For sure.
And I miss that. I had that in the lunch and learns, as you and I were talking about. 20 years ago, people would go to a lunch and learn to talk with a rabbi and 15 or 20 other people and get excited, and take out their wooden swords and fight with each other across the table. But those days are done now. That is missed. And those kind of conversations deep conversations are beautiful.
Yeah, we got to bring them back. We can't, it's really hard to have those conversations via Zoom or online.
It's not, something's missing.
Yeah.
Would you say, well, as a rabbi, you probably have a lot more of them than non-rabbis.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably true, but still significantly less than we did before COVID, right? I mean, that changed the dynamic of a lot of different things. And yeah, I think we're slowly but surely kind of starting to move back. But it changed the way that we talk to one another and the way that we interact. And I think we still see it a lot.
So you think it'll come back more, or you think we've reached a stasis?
I think for a lot of folks we've reached a stasis, and I think when it comes to some of our social isolationism and being able to not have to do the hard work of looking each other in the eyes and sitting down and having a conversation is kind of an easy out that a lot of people continue to take. But I think the more surveys we see profound loneliness in people. And I think there is a bit of a waking up to the idea that we have to do something to counteract it. We can't blame it on other things. We have to actually make the ability to get out of our homes and be able to sit with other people.
You mean, are you saying that loneliness can be helped by not being alone? What are you saying?
I know, isn't that bizarre?
That's
and also that loneliness
radical.
Can be helped by understanding that our online social lives are not the same thing as real social lives. Right? Talking to people on Facebook is not the same thing as sitting down and having lunch and arguing over the parsha. It's different.
Yeah.
And we need to get back to that. But to go back to what you were saying about AA, which I think is something that's really powerful about AA, is that when you're hearing someone's story, even if it's different than your own, you still feel part of your own story in it. So then you are already connected on this cosmic level of understanding, and then community is deeply rooted as part of the AA system. You have sponsors, you are responsible for one another, and you check in with one another, which is something that we could learn from as faith communities and spiritual communities, of being able to say that the heart and soul of what we are supposed to be is a village, is a community that looks out for one another and is there for one another.
The higher power aspect of AA is a problem for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I as everybody who's not living in a totally religious area of town knows, I know so many people who are cynical about God, about just the concept of it. They think it's ridiculous. But I have a friend who went to rehab many years ago, and he was a lapsed Catholic, 12 years of Catholic school. One of the smartest people I've ever known in my life.
Yeah.
And a little more than a little cynical. And when he got out of rehab, I said, so tell me, we had this one long phone conversation, 3 hours. I said, how did you finesse the God thing, the higher power?
Yeah.
And because I know how cynical he is and how fallen a Catholic he is. He said, I had a brilliant sponsor. He said to me, so you've got a problem with the higher power? I said, yeah. And he said, and you're here because, well, you have agreed that you're powerless over alcohol. And he said, that's true. And what do you think the most powerful thing in the universe is? And my friend said, the human mind. And the sponsor said, that's beautiful. However, there is clearly something more powerful than the human mind, and that's alcohol.
Yeah.
So would you say then the highest power in the known world then is alcohol? Is that acceptable to you? And he said, you got me.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so logical, it's so smart.
Yeah, I think the difficult thing for people is the word God, right? But I do think that pressed people could probably point to different parts of their lives where they see something that is more powerful than what they have preconceived, right? God becomes a difficult thing because already it's putting things into very neat boxes of organized religion or of something that might have a bad taste in someone's mouth from their own childhood or something else. But I mean, if you're powerless to something, you're already acknowledging that there's power greater than you. And to me personally, to just look to see the complexity of the world is really hard to not see some kind of something that exists bigger than myself.
The watchmaker.
The watchmaker? Yeah, I mean that could be an interesting.
It's a little cliche.
Yeah, but I mean it's something, and it's not even just like the complexity of the world, although that in and of itself is something for us to marvel about. But it's also the fact of, especially as how humans interact with one another, that we're just not. It's not just biology, right? We're also capable of all of these other complex things of emotions and wonder and awe and things that don't seem to have necessary biological advantages or disadvantages, but are something connected to being able to analyze our world.
Do you see part of your being a rabbi as, is it about helping bring people to God, or not really? Is that too simplistic?
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's right, but I think that it's nuanced in how we can talk about that.
Oh, so it's a sales job.
It's kind of a sales job.
I sell life insurance. But
Yeah.
If I got on the phone and said, "So I want to see if you want to buy some life insurance. Would you like to have a meeting with me?" I'd sell zero.
Yeah,
You
exactly
can't
right.
sell it that way.
Right. And I'm not interested in saying I've done my job as a rabbi if someone says, "Okay, now I believe in God." That's not my job. What my job is to help people see the wonder of existence. So they ask the question of it when they wake up, and they say, "It's a new day. I need to think about the blessings in my life." So gratitude as part of that wonder, questioning everything, including skepticism. Good, healthy skepticism is a beautiful thing.
And it's so Jewish.
Yeah, it's incredibly Jewish. It's the heartbeat of who we are, and it's supposed to be, because the things matter more when we wrestle with them. If we're just told to just believe something because you're told to believe them.
It's not just Jewish. You got the Jesuits.
For sure.
Are big on the questions.
Absolutely. But I think that to introduce people to wonder is my job, right? To show appreciation and to just be able to, not to say, this is the capital T truth, but to say, holy cow, life is incredible, and I should ask questions about it.
Now, wait a minute. You're a rabbi at a synagogue. You're supposed to explain to people the rules, tell them what they have to do, when they have to do it, and when they have to have it done by.
Exactly right.
Oh, man, oh, man.
No, I think all of those things, halakha, Jewish law, and all of those different pieces of Jewish identity are important, but they are bits and pieces that make up the greater whole, which is love and pride in Yiddishkeit, pride in being Jewish and love of being Jewish, and also understanding that we are part of God's creation and that we are also responsible for helping in the process of creation, and that comes with a lot of responsibility, but also with incredible gifts.
So when you look at the congregation, you have a lot of one-on-ones with people, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Would you say, people said of Bob Dylan that he was at his best writing songs when he was going after the big topics.
Yeah.
That some people are terrible at them. You give them a big topic and they end up sounding foolish. I imagine some rabbis are better at the one-on-ones, and some rabbis are better at the big topics. Do you have a feeling for your own skill set or where your comfort level is?
Yeah, I think I like the one-on-ones. I think a lot about the big topics. I studied philosophy in both college and in grad school, so I think about the big topics a lot. But I also trip myself up because they can become so overwhelming in how big those topics are. So, I mean, Rudolf Otto, who wrote this beautiful book on the idea of the holy, his preface to the book is like, I'm not even sure this book makes sense. Like, don't even try to read this book, maybe, because trying to define the ineffable or trying to talk about holiness or sacredness, which automatically exists in a transcendent place where I can't put into words, maybe it's a fool's errand to even try.
So the title of the book is "Please Don't Read."
Please don't read this book.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of. That's preface is
succeed.
like maybe this. I don't know if it'll resonate. But
If I
I've also,
wow.
teaching. I've taught in college courses before and taught. And even in my conversion classes, I have people read I and Thou by Martin Buber. And some people who have had a mystical experience, whatever that might be, sorry, go ahead.
No. I was just going to make a stupid joke.
Oh, go.
I was going to say your conversion classes, this is from metric to imperial measurements?
Exactly right.
Okay, good.
But people who, you can always tell the people who have had some kind of mystical experience, whether they would consider it a quote unquote traditional religious experience or just a moment of transcendence in nature or in a concert of their favorite musician or whatever it might be, you can always tell those people, because when they read Martin Buber, they say, I get what he's talking about. And the people who haven't said, I have no idea what in the world I'm reading here, right? And I think that's also something that is that idea of wonder.
I learn through stories.
Yeah.
And I don't, when teachers try to force something at me, I usually say, come on, tell me a story, please.
Yeah.
It's not making any sense. I took CFP classes from a wonderful, wonderful man named George Clark. May he rest in peace. And he was a great, great teacher and a sweet human being. And he would start to get technical, and I was paying for this class, and I'm sitting there from 6 to 9 p.m. every Wednesday. That's a long class to talk about estate planning.
Yeah.
And I said, Professor Clark, tell us a story. Take somebody from your career and cross out their names. I need to hear it as a story.
Yeah. I think that's how we are. I mean, we're
storytellers as a species.
Truly. And that's one of those aspects of wonder, right? Of the way that we analyze the world and understand the world is really through storytelling, and something that's really beautiful about who we are. And I'll give you a story to talk about the mystical experience.
Great. Can you hand me my water?
Yeah, of course.
I should have put it over by me, not by you.
So, for me, this is an example. I've had what I would consider to be several religious and mystical experiences in my life, but the one that I always come back to is this one.
I
Yeah.
hope you had at least one.
Well, no, I would say that there are probably a lot of clergy people who think about it in a cognitive way, but not necessarily in a more of a mystical way, right? And they can talk about something being meaningful to them, but different than kind of a overwhelming experience of something beyond.
Sure.
So when I was in college, I went to a Norwegian Lutheran college in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and I sang in the choir and met some of my best friends in the world in this choir. And we're an a cappella choir, and one of our trips, we did regional trips, but we also did international trips every few years. And one of our international trips was to Kenya and to Tanzania. And while we were there, we were in Dar es Salaam in Tanzania, big city, but suffers from tons of brownouts and different things because the electrical grid is pretty much non-existent. It exists, but it always is kind of flickering. And we had one concert that we were supposed to go to that night, one evening. And before we got there, we had received word that the whole neighborhood where we were going was completely in the dark because the electricity had gone out. So we said, okay, well, I guess we're supposed to drive over there anyway and see what's going on. But none of us thought we were singing that night. So we go to this, it's kind of like a community center, but it just feels like a multi-purpose room, simple area with like 60 chairs set up. And we're assuming that no one's going to be there because there's no power. And our director goes down to check it out and comes back up onto the bus and he says, ladies and gentlemen, let's go. And we walk into this room and everyone is sitting there with candles. And we walk in to go do a concert in candlelight.
Ooh.
Right when we start getting ready to sing, we all hold hands, which is what we do in this choir, and the lights come back on. So everyone is like cheering and clapping, and it's a lot of fun. And everyone blows out their candles, and we start singing. About 5 minutes into our 45-minute set, the lights go out again, and we're all in the dark, but no one lights a candle. And for the rest of that time, 40 minutes, we are singing, and we're singing in harmony, and we're stopping our songs and starting our songs without any direction, and other than just being able to feel each other.
How dark is it?
It's pitch black.
You can't see anything.
You can't see anything.
Wow.
But we're holding each other's hands, and if we know that and every once in a while you'll get a squeeze or something just to let it, like we're off, maybe we're on a little flat or whatever it might be, but we're talking through just squeezing each other's hands. But we start realizing as we're singing that the quality of the music is getting significantly worse. And we're understanding that the reason it is because so many of us are crying
Oh.
because it's such it's just such a powerful experience. And we're getting ready to finish, and we probably only have like 2 or 3 minutes left, and the lights come on again. And when they come on, everyone, the people who are listening, all of us singing, everyone just weeping. And and I'm sure there's kind of scientific rationale for all kinds of different things here, but to us, this was a moment of humans connecting with other humans in a really profound way that connected us even when we couldn't see each other, even when we couldn't have our normal means of communication and introduction, and we don't know each other from Adam. We don't know these people at all, and they don't know us at all. And we have this moment where all of us are touched somewhere deep within our souls. And even if we didn't understand, I mean, I was singing music in Italian and Latin and other things while we're singing it. I don't understand those words either, but it wasn't about the words, it was about the experience that we were having together. Yeah.
Wow, that's beautiful.
So I think those are the moments that, to me, those are the reasons that I'm a rabbi. I want those moments not just for me. I mean, I want them for me too because they're incredible moments, but I want them for everyone to be able to understand, like, this is what it's about.
Were you on the road to becoming a rabbi at that moment?
No part of me ever thought that, but probably in that moment, it's probably one of the moments I started thinking about it.
Did you feel like something was missing in your life, or that there was a greater field you could play in, or something? How would you say you made the decision to be a rabbi?
I mean, I'll tell you the simple answer, and then I'll tell you the more complicated answer. The simple answer is I was training to be a professor. I wanted to teach. I love teaching. And I wanted to teach Judaism, and I wanted to teach Jewish philosophy. So when I went from college to grad school, that's what I was focusing on, and I wanted to teach Jewish mysticism and Jewish philosophy. And I had a very amazing advisor in grad school who I appreciate so much because he was honest with me. And he said to me, Yoni, you are going to be waiting in line to get one of like the 6 positions in the country where you can teach what you want to teach. And the people in front of you are people who are already on their PhDs and are devotees of the 6 people who are going to die and retire and fill in their spot. So if that's what you want to do, I'm here to help you. And we can do that together. Or you could go to rabbinical school, and you don't have to be a pulpit rabbi or anything else, but it can make you so much more marketable. So you could be at a Jewish day school, or you could teach at a college, and you could teach Hebrew or Bible or all of these different things, and you can go where you want. And to me, it was so practical. And so when I went to JTS, I applied both in the rabbinical school and their PhD program, and said, I'm never going to be a pulpit rabbi. I just want you guys to know that because I want to be in the classroom and I want to teach. And they said, we'll see. And sure enough, after my second year, but after my third year, when I was doing rotations, and part of our rotations is pulpit work, I saw that being a pulpit rabbi is a lot of teaching, which I love, but also being able to be present with people in the most important moments of their lives, which was a blessing that I didn't even really realize was part of the job. So from then on, it was no turning back. It was exactly what I wanted to do.
That was the short of the long.
That's the short one, I guess. That's the short one. I mean, I think the longer, more complicated piece is that there is something that I think is my own sense of questioning and my own sense of something missing. And I think that a lot of people have that. And, it's maybe not the longer answer, but it's the more complicated answer of there's always a piece that I'm searching for too.
Yeah, searching is good. I guess being a rabbi, that doesn't mean you have all the answers.
I have very few.
It means you've studied them.
Yeah. Right.
You've read them. Oh, there's the answer. I'm not ready.
But I have a lot of questions, which is good.
Yeah. So I was thinking that we could choose topics potentially each week and cover some of the basics. when it comes to, well, God's a basic, prayer, forgiveness, Judaism and women, fascinating topic, intermarriage.
Absolutely.
These are topics that I'd love to find out what you can teach me on them. And if there's things that you think your congregation might be interested in hearing you talk at more depth, I'll ask questions and shut up. Except for the shutting up part.
Yeah.
I'm not that good.
Yeah, I hope you don't. Because I think we're also here to teach each other. I'm here to learn from you on some of these things too.
Well, I get to be skeptical because that's the title of the podcast, and I am skeptical. I've had a lot of discussions with an Orthodox rabbi Rabbi Tolwyn, who I've done a whole series of podcasts with, and I kept finding myself saying, now hold on, are we supposed to actually believe this, that this happened, or is this just a story that we're supposed to learn something from? I can get on board with that, but I don't think that this actually happened.
Yeah.
And it's been a lot of fun, and I presume I'm going to get a different angle.
I think so.
You're not Orthodox.
I'm not, and I'm probably outside the realm theologically of a lot of conservative rabbis too. I think about some of these things probably differently.
What's outside the realm? What direction are you outside?
Yeah, and I think the questions for me about historicity or
Historicity.
I
don't know this word.
Just the ideas of if things in the Torah are historically accurate to me.
Oh, is it a history book?
Right. Those questions aren't as significant to me as the questions of, what am I supposed to learn from it? And I think that can get some rabbis in trouble if you say the Exodus didn't happen or the Torah was not given to Moshe on Mount Sinai. To me, that's not the questions that I'm so interested in asking.
Or how about that Adam and Eve weren't the first Adam and Eve?
Exactly right. To me, we'll talk about it, I'm sure. But for me, the creation stories in particular are very, very clearly not about history. They're not meant to be, right? They're meant to be read in a way of making us, and there's two of them for a reason. They're making us think about things in a different light, and possibly responding to the historian in me likes what they could possibly be responding to, which I think is also cultures that exist outside of the Israelite culture, and what they're trying to wrestle with themselves.
Okay, well, I'm looking forward to learning. I think that's a good introduction. We don't want to go too long and have people say, well, I could have been 15 minutes shorter, it would have been a lot better. We don't want that. But let's do this again soon, and thanks everybody for watching, and we'll be back with another edition of this, who knows, in a week or so.
Sounds great. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.